Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle. Welcome back to another edition of the List Building Lifestyle with your host, Igor Kheifets. My guest today needs no introduction. He's the guru's guru. He's a veteran in our industry. In fact, he's been in it for almost 20 years. And I'm just 29. So for me, he's a legend. When I started online, he was already making millions. And if there's anyone who understands exactly how to make money online, and if there's anyone who taught tons and tons of people how to do it, it's Mr. Michael Cheney. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you. How you doing?
Doing well. Excited. And I'm just going to fire out the first question right away. I get this all the time, okay? I talk to people who you'd call, newbies, right? They're just getting started in this industry. And all they talk about is passive income. Igor, how do I make passive income? My dream is to make passive income and travel the world. So my question to you, Michael, is there such a thing as passive income online? And if there is, how do you get it?
Well, the short answer is no, but there is some good news. It's like one of those perpetual motion machines, right? Scientists for the longest time, back in the day, tried to create a machine that could just power itself before the use of fuel and everything. And they came up with various ideas of maybe a pendulum would go backwards and forwards, and that would make a wheel go round, and then the wheel somehow would try and make the pendulum go round. And they always thought they'd cracked it, but eventually these machines, these perpetual motion machines or kind of passive motion machines, the fact that you push it once and it just keeps going and going, they never worked. They always came to a stop. And it's the same with an online business. Exactly the same. In fact, I was at the Science Museum in Scotland. It's the largest science museum here in Glasgow just the other weekend for my birthday with my kids. And there was this amazing contraption. It was over 2 floors. It had all these little balls that were rolling down this thing like a roller coaster for these little balls. And you'd watch them, then they'd spin round. One would go down a hole and they'd lift up and go around. And it was all great. And it looked like it was powering itself. It looked like it was one of these passive motion things where nothing was powering it. But it still needed power to lift the ball from the very bottom up to the top. Once it got to the top, great, everything went automatically. The balls rolled and it did all this cool stuff. But once it got to the bottom, there needed to be some form of energy again to get it to the top. And that's the same with business. Passive income is not possible, but near passive income is possible. So something that you kind of set going once, you do most of the work in advance, you set it going, and it will generate income for you on a consistent basis, but you will still need to do a little bit of maintenance. A little bit of effort will be required on an ongoing basis, but not very much. 95% of the effort is in building the whole thing, building the machine, and then 5% of the effort is just on an ongoing basis just to keep the money coming out. So that's what we call near passive income. It's not totally hands-free because that just doesn't exist, but it's as close to hands-free as you can get.
Well, I'm really happy you said that, because if you go on Instagram or Facebook, everybody's raving about how much money they're making and as if they're not working. But the reality is, it's really not true. At the very least, even if right now they're not working today, they spent a long time. They invested a lot of time, effort, energy, resources to building a system. So this brings me to my next question. What is that system? How do you build one?
Well, there's a lot of components to it. It's probably best to just go through them one by one, and for all your listeners, just to take notes on some of these things, because this is really what you need to build to get to a point where you have a system set up that is near passive income. It's not totally hands-free. You still need to put a little bit of time in maintaining it and devoting some time to it. But once you've got the thing built, it pretty much runs itself, just like that machine that I described to you in the museum there. So the first thing that you're going to need is a way to capture leads, which I'm sure your audience knows all about, right? So a lead page, squeeze page, whatever you want to call it. You've got to get people on a list so that you can follow up with them, give them offers and so on. So that's the first thing you're going to need. Then you're going to need follow-up campaigns, follow-up email campaigns that promote various offers, whether it's affiliate offers or ideally your own products, so that you can keep 100% of the money for yourself. Then you're going to need to kind of scale this up. It's no point just saying, okay, well, let me create a little ebook. I'll get a little squeeze page. I'll give something away for free, maybe the first chapter, and then I'll sell the rest of the ebook. That's not going to generate that near passive income for you. It's going to generate some income, but the stage that I've got this to now, having been doing this now for, as you say, nearly 20 years, is I'm only working a few hours a week. I work about 5 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I'll take weekends off and I take several vacations a year. And I'm making close to $2 million a year now. So that's near passive income on a pretty big scale. But you can't just do that if you've got one product on one squeeze page. I've actually got 8 products or 8 funnels, if you like, and 8 different squeeze pages. And each of these squeeze pages leads people through a different funnel and different series of products. So you want to have multiple products. You want to have multiple price points in what we've called a sales funnel. And again, I'm sure everybody's encountered this. So you have a low-priced offer at the start. Then you introduce maybe another high-priced offer, maybe a recurring offer. And then at the bottom of the funnel, and this is normally out of sight, by the way, this is normally hidden from public, is what we call a deep sale offer. It's kind of deep underground. Typically, when people are looking at funnels online, they'll say, okay, there's an offer, it's $19.95, and then we click, we buy it, and there's an OTO, or what we call a one-time offer. So that could be $24 or whatever. And then maybe there's another OTO and maybe a downsell. And that's it. And people think that's the funnel, but really that's just the start of the funnel. That most money is made from these deep sale offers deep down in the funnel, which is hidden away. It's not part of the public sales process, right? It's not something that's usually visible, and it's hardly ever something that you would get paid a commission on as an affiliate, right? Because normally affiliates might get 50% of the front end $20 product. They might get 50% or maybe more of some of the other upsells. But the vendor, the product owner, would never dream of giving away any percentage of those deep sale offers, because that's where the big money is made. You know, the $2,000, the $5,000, $20,000 offers. I mean, I've got a $20,000 offer in my business, coaching, which is one-on-one for 90 days, which I don't have any spots for right now, but that's the kind of the ultimate deep sale offer in my business, that $20,000 offer. So when you start building these things out, and of course this all takes time, right? To build one product takes a lot of time, but then to build different products to form the first funnel, and then to build multiple funnels takes a lot of time. But once you've got all this set up, and you've got people moving through each of these funnels on a daily basis and opting in and seeing the offers, seeing the different price points, buying things, seeing those deep sale offers, then you start to approach that near passive income. But you need to have automation in place. You don't want to get involved in a process of trying to sell any of this stuff manually, or having to do sales calls or reaching out to people one-on-one, because that's just going to clog up your time. You're never going to be able to get to that near passive income status if you're having to get your hands dirty and go and do manual work, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I actually fell victim to this big mistake. I was chasing the money at the time. I was selling high-ticket coaching on the phone. I built funnels, 16-hour days. You know the feeling, right? I mean, I'm sure you've been there yourself.
Yeah.
And once upon a time, I come back home, and as you know, work in a coffee shop, which is where I've done all my sales calls, and my wife isn't there. Now, we just had our first baby. Well, the only baby. You know, if you're listening to this a few years into the future, I have more babies, but my wife and Erica, my daughter, are not at home. I'm like, okay, that's weird, because my wife never goes out. So I started calling her up, and I realized the phone is in the apartment. Like, she's just not there. Well, it turned out that she got pissed with me and left. And I was chasing her around town and eventually found her at her mother's place. And it turned out that she was upset with me for a very long time because I was always working. Sure, we were making great money. In fact, I was making so much money, I had no idea what to do with it. But the problem was that I almost sacrificed my marriage for that. And that was when I learned the painful lesson that even if you can make a lot of money just hustling, grinding, eventually it catches up with you. Either your health or your marriage or something's going to happen that's going to let you know, look, this is not the right way to go.
That's an important point. It's kind of timely as well. I mean, I was on Facebook just before we jumped on this call, and I saw a post from John Reese. I'm sure almost everybody will have heard of the traffic guy, the first guy to do $1 million launch. And he was just talking about this exact same thing. And he was saying, would you rather have a business which makes, millions and millions and millions of dollars, but you're working every hour under the sun, you don't have time for your friends, family, or to do anything that you enjoy? Or would you want a lifestyle business that gives you all the money that you need and the spare time that you need to actually go off and enjoy that money? And it was a serious question. And he said, look, I've got, a lot of friends that are making millions and millions of dollars, but they're too busy to come to the movies with me. They always seem mega stressed out. And then he said, I've got other friends that are still really successful. They're making good money, but they do have time to just drop everything and go off on vacation or do whatever they want. In internet marketing, people are always focused on the money. Got to chase the money. I want to make $1 million. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's fine to a certain extent, but you've got to realize, just like you said, Igor, if you sacrifice everything else to do that, it's just the wrong thing to do. You're going to regret it, right? You might lose your friends, family, your partner. You might lose your health. You might even lose your life if you're just working too hard and burning the candle at both ends. And I think we've all done this. I've certainly done that as well. When I started out putting all the hours in, just not taking breaks, just trying to hustle, as people call it. And there seems to be this positive vibe now. Oh, you've got to hustle. I'm like, well, no, I'm a professional balanceaholic. I'm not a hustleaholic. I'm a balanceaholic. 2 hours every day I ride my bike. I take my dog for a walk. 2 to 3 hours a day I spend with my kids. And if there's any spare time left over, I'll do it on the business. But it's in that order. It's not a case of, me working for the business and trying to keep this thing going. The business has got to a stage now, because I've structured it in the right way, which is what we're talking about here with the system, that I can step back and take time off. So again, you just said before we jumped on the call here, before we kind of started going, you were saying, oh, how was vacation? I had a great time. I didn't do anything on that vacation, right? I didn't check email. I didn't do any support or anything like that. I didn't create anything. And I came back. I'd made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars during that time. I think about, $15,000, $20,000 or something in those few days I was away. I did no work. I came back, and to kind of clear the sort of so-called backlog took me 3 hours. After 3 hours of just going through some emails, I was back to where I was when I started. Everything was fine. The money hadn't stopped. That's near passive income. It continued going while I was away. If I'd gone away for 2 weeks, it would have still worked, 3, 4 weeks and so on. If I'd have left it for 6 months, of course, then eventually it would tail off. Like we said at the beginning of this call, those machines, they look great. They look like they're going to go forever, but eventually they will slow down. So it's not magic. There's a lot of work involved to set all this infrastructure up as we're going through right now. But once you have it, you can walk away, you can take a step back, you can do the things you want to in your life, and the money is still coming in. It's really about that automation. That's really the key to this. So like you, Igor, I did the same thing, right? I used to have group coaching. I was on the phone doing sales calls, and I was doing group coaching calls on the phone. And it was great money, but it was just eating into my time. I was working in evenings, working early in the morning. It wasn't ideal. The business wasn't working for me. I was working for the business. So I've now switched this around, and I've built these funnels in a way that they're automated. So what happens is a person comes into the first funnel, right? So they opt in, they go through that funnel, and they'll buy something, everything, or nothing. Whatever happens to that person, whichever decision they make, they will then be put into the next funnel. So they're promoted that first funnel, the products in that funnel, for a week through email, right? Automatically. Nothing, I'm not doing anything at this time because I've set all this up in advance. So they go through and they get all these different emails over the course of a week. And most people will buy something, obviously, after the course of getting a week's worth of emails from me. But if they don't, or even if they do, they're then put into the next funnel automatically, and they then receive follow-up emails for that product and so on. And the same happens at the end of that week. They're then put into the next funnel. And we've got 8 funnels active now with multiple products in each funnel. And at the end of each of these funnels is one of these deep sale offers that's going to create thousands of dollars of income when people invest in it. And all of this happens automatically. The sale of those smaller products is done automatically through websites and sales videos. The sale of those deep sale offers, those higher ticket programs, is also done automatically, either through sales letters, through evergreen webinars, videos, and so on. So there's no requirement on me as an individual to get involved to generate any sales of any of this, apart from, of course, what we referred to earlier as this maintenance, which is getting people in, sending the leads in, right? You're not going to get leads and prospects from thin air. You need to do something to drive that traffic in. And obviously, solo ads is your game, Igor. That's one way. There's so many ways to drive traffic. It's insane. But that's all I need to do is just drop traffic in the top of these funnels, and everything else happens automatically, and the money flows out of the other side. So it is possible to get that near passive income, but you need to create all this stuff. You need to create this infrastructure, this system in advance, and make sure that it's actually automated.
Yeah, I feel like we're teasing people right now because I'm actually envious of your life. I mean, I too want to like cycle for 2 hours a day. I got a buddy of mine who is an avid cyclist, and I told him that you qualified for the Olympics. He was like, "What? He's making all this money and he qualifies?" And and he's like, he's working really hard. He's got a grocery store and he's a hustler. And so it really sounds like a dream, and it is a dream. But I feel like we're teasing. So I want to go back and review the parts. So we said we need a capture page to capture leads. We need at least one offer in the funnel. Of course, we want a deep funnel, with multiple offers, high ticket offers, low ticket offers, recurring offers, and deep sales offers. We want a smart follow-up sequence and we want all of this to be automated. Now, I do have an important question to ask you, Michael, and I want you to give us the truth because that's what we want. How much time does it take you, a person with almost 20 years of experience in this industry, to create a machine like that?
It takes a long time. Even though I've developed the expertise to do all these things, right? Because that's the main thing. You've got two aspects to this, right? If you're going to create a funnel of multiple products, multiple sales letters, multiple download pages, members areas, and multiple actual products and trainings, you've got one aspect of that, which is creating all of that stuff. That's one aspect, and we'll talk about that. The second aspect is getting the expertise and the knowledge to be able to even do that. Right? Because it's okay saying that's what you need to do, but you might need to spend 1,000 hours at each of these different activities learning how to do them, how to create an ebook, how to be a master at copywriting so people buy from the words that you use, how to create videos that sell, how to set up a members area, how to protect content, how to process payments, all of this stuff. So assuming that you even had all that knowledge already and you'd already invested what is literally thousands of hours of learning to get the expertise to be able to do this, if you were then from a standing start saying, okay, I know all this stuff, to go off and create multiple products for just one funnel and create all the different sales letters and everything else, I usually block out around 6 weeks. If I'm going to go from a standing start, nothing, to creating one funnel, it would take me 6 weeks. And I wouldn't be doing anything else in my working hours during those 6 weeks, apart from all of that stuff, creating the products, doing the research, writing the sales letters, the sales videos, everything else. But as I've said, the real backbreaker is in getting the expertise in the first place to be able to even start and actually having something that's going to work. The other thing as well that's important that really has a big impact here for this being automated and being as effective as it is some of the extra things that we've put in here. So we've got deadline sequences in place, okay? So people will come in and they only have a certain amount of time to take advantage of that offer. And this is all done, again, automatically. So they have to go through this and they have to get it, otherwise they miss out on the special price. And again, this is all done automatically for us. And again, these on-demand kind of online trainings that we do without me being there that have these sales pitches in at the end. Again, it's a big component of this. So really having all of that sales follow-up all automated is a huge thing here. So it's a long-winded way of answering your question, but in short, it would take you, if you had all the expertise, no exaggeration, it would take you at least 1,000 hours to be good enough at all of these different components to actually get success. Then you would need to devote probably 6 weeks minimum to actually creating one funnel. But the way that we've got it set up is we now have 8 of these funnels set up. So it's a huge amount of work.
Well, considering most people invest anywhere between 30 minutes to maybe an hour a day at most into their online businesses, we're talking years, basically, for somebody who's brand new to create something like that. Now, for me personally, it took me 3.5 years. 3.5 years before I was able to create my first successful low-ticket offer funnel that was making me enough money to quit my day job, with that, which at the time was $1,500 a month. And that was, a lot of work, lots of blood, sweat, and tears, lots of mistakes, and lots of funnels that I launched that didn't work. So it sounds more like 10,000 hours, to be honest with you, to get it right, to get it launched, to get it designed, to get it programmed, to make the necessary mistakes, to learn the necessary things that you need to know to really produce something that works, to split test, and it's just a ridiculous amount of work. Honestly, an average person is not going to do that. I believe most people can develop a funnel. Most people can learn how to write copy. I just believe that 99.99% of people are just too freaking lazy to do it and too overwhelmed, too frustrated. They procrastinate. It's just impossible for us, if we look at the world as it is, to expect for people to do that. Which begs another question then, Michael. Is there a shortcut?
Yes, there is a shortcut. before I come on to that, there's another component actually, which we forgot to talk about here in terms of what people would need to do. We've said you need to have the expertise to be able to do all these things, to create them. You then need to create them. But before you even do that, you need to become an expert at something which people would buy, right? Which is a huge thing in its own right.
Wow, yes, positioning, right? That's right.
You've actually got to develop a skill to such a high level that you can create training on it that people would hand over money for. So that's the three components. You've got to develop that skill that people would pay money for. Then you've got to develop all the other skills to create the funnel. And then you've got to actually go and create that stuff. But anyway, so yes, there is a shortcut to doing all this. We have developed these 8 funnels that automate all of this. They have the landing pages, everything, the sales letters, the deep sale offers. And what we've done is we've opened this up to our 7-figure franchisees. So we have the program, the 7-figure franchise. And what this enables you to do is piggyback on our success. So rather than you having to create all these lead pages, all these multiple products, multiple funnels, sales letters, videos, members areas, delivery, deep sale offers, products selling for thousands of dollars, all the sales follow-up, sales processing, you just get to franchise and take a license to use our funnel and keep all of the money. So when people first hear this, they're like, why would you do this? How does this even work? So it's very simple. We've got the 8 funnels. You send a person in to that first funnel with your special link. Whenever they buy anything in that funnel, as a franchisee, you get paid 100% on anything that they buy because their link is hard-coded.
Wait. 100%. So you're basically giving away all of the money to the franchisee. You're not keeping some of it. Like if you buy a McDonald's franchise for a ridiculous, $1 million or $500,000, I don't think they allow you to keep all of the money.
The basic trade-off here is we've developed these 8 funnels over many, many years. They're all best sellers on JVZoo. I mean, we've got 2 of the top sellers on the first page of JVZoo included in these funnels. And the trade-off is we'll give you all the money when people buy any of the products inside any of these funnels, and we'll split the deep sale offers 50-50, right? So that's what's in it for me. There's got to be something in it for me. I'm not just going to give my entire business away for nothing. So you, as a franchisee, keep 100% of the money of all the sales from the funnels. And when people buy those deep sale offers, you get paid 50% direct to your PayPal, and we get 50%. So that's what's in it for us. The other cool thing about this is we pay you instantly direct to your PayPal account. There's none of this waiting around for 30 days or 60 days or whatever. You get paid instantly on these sales direct to your PayPal account, and it's all done for you. You send that person in one time, they go through that first funnel. Whenever they buy anything, you get paid 100%. If they buy the deep sale offer, you get paid 50%, which normally is about $1,000 commission straight to your PayPal account. And then that person, without you or I having to do anything, is putting to the next funnel, funnel 2 of 8. And then they go through, and if they buy anything in that funnel, you keep 100% of the money. And if they buy the deep sale offer, you get $1,000, and so on. And then they're moved through into each of the 8 funnels. So it just gives you a business right off the shelf without you having to create all of this for yourself, without you having to struggle and try and become an expert at something so that people will give you money to buy the expertise, without having to try and learn how to create all this stuff, and without having to actually sit down and create it all. So in a nutshell, that's basically how it works.
That's crazy, man. When I started online, you were already making millions of dollars. You were launching products on ClickBank. It never had anything like that. And I'm like, why not? I could have joined. I mean, I could have shortcutted my way. I mean, just to think how much money. Let's just forget the time. Nobody's going to give me back the time, right? I mean, that's the only resource we cannot get back. But the amount of money I spent to learn all this stuff, the amount of money I spent on bogus bullshit products, it's ridiculous. And it's just crazy how much the industry has developed ever since I started, and how much more opportunity and how much easier it is for people to make money today because of programs like yours. Now, I'm sure there's some programs out there who also do this, but the one thing that I love about yours, right, because I checked out the entire funnel, is you're a true blue-blooded veteran. You are one of those old school guys that still do long form copy and believe that copy is the primary number one skill in this industry, which I subscribe to this belief as well. You do this right, and your customers get to actually experience it and benefit from it as well. Like, I see a lot of people sell funnels out there, and quite frankly, those funnels are shit. I mean, those funnels do not convert. but they still, they lie through their teeth, and they basically say, oh, you're going to make a ton of money with this funnel, this business. And, they say, oh, I've tested this and I've tested that. But the reality is they never tested anything. They launched the business to get rich selling the business. That's what they've done. When in your case, and I know I sound like a fanboy here, but I don't care. I've been a fanboy of yours since a long time ago. What you've done, you've basically made a living as an internet marketer in this industry for a long time until you've came up with the program. So you took all the experience and you summoned it into this one good program. So I really appreciate you being willing to do that, as well as only doing it for the price that you have. We're not going to discuss pricing on this call. If you really want to learn more about Michael's franchise program, just go to igorsolowitz.com/franchise. But the price is ridiculously low in comparison to every other franchise/licensing opportunity I've ever seen in our industry. And trust me, that's what I do for a living. I promote these opportunities for my clients with my soloites, and I've seen them all. And this is a ridiculously low-priced offer compared to everything out there. So, Michael, I wanted to thank you for that.
You're more than welcome. And yeah, I should maybe just tell a little bit about the story about how this came about, because it wasn't that I kind of sat down and thought, let me dream up some offer, or how can I create a program that people are going to like, or that I'm going to be able to sell, or whatever. This actually came about totally by accident, which I know people say before, it's a bit of a cliche, but it really did. Like about this time last year, so about 12 months ago from where we are right now, I decided I wanted to put on an event. I wanted to do a training event in Edinburgh because I love public speaking. I'd not done it in a long time. So I thought I'm going to put an event on in Edinburgh. So I put this event on, started trying to sell tickets. And ticket sales were okay, but I thought, well, I'm going to have to ramp sales up. So let me just keep adding things to the offer. So I thought, okay, well, what if, because at the moment we've already touched on about 10% of the offer. So I thought, well, what if I give people that attend this event, what if I give them, obviously, the recordings, right? So this was a full weekend event where I shared everything that I do online, every single thing, step by step, of how I make millions of dollars a year online. So I thought, okay, well, I'll give them the recordings to that. They've got to get the recordings. They'll take notes, but I'll give them the recordings. So that became one of the components. Then I thought, well, what if I let them use any affiliate promotion that I've written ever, and every affiliate promotion that I ever write, they can use as their own. So I threw that in as well. So that means basically any time I've written an email or a Facebook post or anything promoting a product, and anytime I do that in the future forever, you can just use it as your own. You just take your affiliate link out, put yours in, and you're good to go. Right? So you don't need to research the best products because I've done that for you. You don't need to write the copy because I've done that for you. You just grab the affiliate link, take mine out, put yours in, and you're good to go. So I threw that in. Then I thought, well, what about if I give all my programs for free? I've been doing this, as you said, nearly 20 years. I've got a lot of trainings out there on how to drive traffic and how to grow your business through Facebook and all these different things. I'm going to give people that attend this event in Edinburgh, I'm going to give them all of my programs for free. So I threw that into the mix as well. And then I said, oh, what if I give them some of my time? So I'll give them, 30 days consultancy with me. So I just started piling all this stuff on to sell tickets to this event. This was really the whole point of it. And then almost as an afterthought, I was like, well, what if I give them $1,000 commissions on deep sell offers that I've got? And suddenly it became this thing. I got messages out the wazoo on Facebook, people saying, I want to get to Edinburgh, Scotland, but I can't. I live in Canada, I live in the States, I live in Australia. I can't make it. I want all that stuff. Can I give you the money and you'll give me that stuff? That's when I realized that I had something on my hands that was wider and of a grander scale than that actual event in Edinburgh. So the people in Edinburgh, they were the luckiest guys of all because they paid the same price. They got to see me live in Edinburgh and they got everything else as well because they were the guys that took the decision and the action takers, as it were. But then it became this 7-figure franchise, which I started selling earlier this year. We've only been doing this for about 9 months now. And in those 9 months, we've paid $634,154.41 in commissions to franchisees in the past 9 months. So it's a pretty staggering thing. It's really taken off now. And people are just jumping all over it. They're grabbing it. They're grabbing their links. They're sending the traffic in with your solo ads or different traffic sources, and they're seeing the money coming out the other side. So it's awesome for me to see. As I say, it wasn't something that I sat down in a darkened room and tried to dream up an offer. It came about totally by pure luck, really, of me just piling stuff in to try and sell these event tickets. But then it became this juggernaut thing, which everybody else wanted to get their hands on. So that's when I released it publicly and started developing it and adding more components to it.
Right. So just like a lot of great things, it happens sort of like as a natural byproduct of creation. In a lot of ways, what you just described is a process that's very common. I think Eben Pagan spoke about it in one of his seminars where he said, when you're out there creating something and you think you're working on one thing, in the process, you discover a totally different thing that ends up becoming your success card.
Right.
I've had plenty of success cards over the years, let's face it. But, for me, with solo ads, it was very similar. I was working on learning and understanding how to better convert solo ads for myself. When I figured out this skill, getting traffic and converting it, is something most people don't have, but they need. And so I ended up starting my solo ad agency as, like you said, as sort of like an afterthought. Just, as a test, let's see if it works. And I had 3 clients, then I had 13, then I had 30, and it grew eventually into, incidentally, a 7-figure franchise for me. So,
right.
Yeah, I can completely see how that could have happened without intentionally sitting down to create a juggernaut like that. So, once again, guys, if you would like to learn more about Michael's 7-figure franchise, go ahead and visit igorsoloads.com/franchise. And Michael, what are some final words that you'd like to share with our listeners who are still trying to build the near passive income?
Well, I would say just take action. I'm not going to pitch this. I'm not going to, push people to go buy it. I mean, we've mapped out a little bit of what you need to do. You need to have a system in place, and your options are simple. You can go and do it yourself, or you can choose something where it's done for you. And nothing in life is free. You might think, well, I'll take the free option. Well, yeah, you can take that free option if you want. But as we said, you're looking at thousands and thousands of hours. But whatever you do, make sure you take that first step, whether it's going over and checking out more information about the franchise itself. We've got some free traffic training in there as well, which you might enjoy. Or whether it's sitting down and saying, okay, what can I become an expert in? What should I devote 10,000 hours to become an expert in so I can sell my own products and keep 100% of the money rather than sell somebody else's that are already ready to sell 100% of the money? So it's your decision. That's really what people need to do, is just make a judgment call and say, what makes most sense to me at this time?
Yeah, I mean, here's a little bit of a background about our listeners, right? There's really 2 categories. There's the people who are younger, like around my age, around 30, who are doing everything themselves and they enjoy the process. Like my friend Jean-Francois, he's a VIP member and he learned how to do VSLs. He learned how to do audio editing. He learned how to do videos, webinar. Like the guy is just consuming information like a sponge and he's taking action every single day. Passionate, driven, technical. Invests a lot of time, a lot of money into this industry, into this passion, because he builds it for his kids, for his son. It's just a legacy thing. He will go at it, and he will go at it hard, like you, like me, like anyone in that quote-unquote category. There's also another type of clients that I have, and these are the people that have a job, have commitments, much older, probably after 55 years old, and they recognize the importance of being technical and investing the hours, but they don't enjoy this process. They really don't. They don't enjoy figuring it out. They don't enjoy writing copy. They subscribe to my service at bizupemails.com where I write their emails for them, and they really enjoy the benefits of free time. It's just the certain type of thinking. Nothing wrong with it, right? There's just 2 different types of thinking, and both can succeed. So if you're subscribed to the second school of thought, where you prefer for a lot of these technical things to be done by a professional that you can trust and that you can rely on, then I highly recommend Michael's 7-figure franchise. If you're somebody who enjoys figuring it all out themselves, if the process is what fascinates you, then don't get it. Don't go to the link that I mentioned. Don't buy this, because you're basically not going to benefit from it, because you need to go through the process yourself. You will get way more pleasure and you will create something incredible that's yours, right? That's your legacy, not Michael's legacy, but your legacy. But if you're somebody who's focused on the end result, the money, the business, the automation, the freedom, and you don't want to get stuck in the technical element of it. For example, I did it with podcasting. I'm good at creating the content. I suck at everything else. Okay, so I just hire a professional to handle everything for me. Even though I can learn how to do that, at this point, not interested. So same thing with the 7-figure franchise. If you want to build your own sales funnel, if you want to figure all this stuff out, well, be my guest, and that's what I've done. But if you're the kind of person that doesn't enjoy the process and understands that it's either going to take them forever or you're just going to quit midway through because you're going to get frustrated, then definitely visit igorsoloads.com/franchise to learn more about Michael's franchise program. So that's about it for the list building lifestyle for today. We went a little bit over time compared to what we usually do. Michael, thank you so much for giving us the precious moments. I truly enjoyed this. True pleasure and an honor to be hosting you on my show.
You're welcome. It's been lots of fun, and hopefully all the listeners got some value out of it.
I'm sure they did. Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share in the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.